What's up, folks? And welcome to another episode of the Shots Fired podcast with DP. I am your host, Jay Simino, aka Despop, and today is 28 April 2026. And now I'd like to tell you a little story about my time assigned to a Secret Service presidential detail with what happened the other day at that hotel in DC and all that going on. So let's move into case files with DP. It was some days back yonder, and President Obama was coming to spend the night in my city, and the entire Detective Bureau was forced over for the entire stay. So at around 4 p.m. at the end of our shifts, we all went down to the hotel and waited. And we were mustered out in front of the building, but got to mill around in the lobby a little. And I gotta tell you, I was impressed. To call this a major undertaking for one night in a hotel would be an understatement. This advanced team comes in hours ahead of time. They begin setting up the lobby, scanning for bombs, dogs everywhere. They move all the furniture out. They start bolting metal detectors and baggage screeners to the floor. I could not believe the precision with which this team moved, all dressed like stormtroopers, completely decked out. And at some point after dark, a guy in a suit with one of those squiggly wire thingies hanging out of his ear approaches and identifies himself as the special agent in charge of this detail. He hands out instructions and assignments and then pauses dramatically before he says, "Now, which one of you is Jason Simino?" Before I could say, uh-oh, all the bosses and detectives from the police chief down to my partner start laughing and pointing at me. They're like, they must have gotten into your social media, bro. You're fucked now. Shit like that, just ball breaking. So I sheepishly approach the man with my hands out, anticipating a handcuffing, purely busting balls, of course. And the guy announces to the group that I will be point man for the operation. He hands me this Secret Service pin and tells me where to place it. He had the same pin on. You can see them affixed to Secret Service members in images and videos. It's right above the left breast. They're coded and changed with each event and cannot be fucking duplicated. He explains to the group that I will be attached to his hip. Anything he needs to get out to them will go through me, and anything the department sees, should it be something suspicious or anything, will also go through me, and I will pass it on to them. He gave me a Secret Service radio. I demanded one of those squiggly wire earpiece things, but he declined. Anyway, I was the only one from the department with full access to every floor and room in the entire hotel. Any cop caught where they shouldn't be without that pin will be shot on sight, no questions asked. And they weren't bullshitting, because it almost happened that night with one of our guys. He's only alive because the agent hesitated. He saw the detective shield, and there was another special agent escorting him. I might have had a little poop come out of me. I ain't gonna fucking lie when that happened. Just a minor shark. So I get to see the entire operation. Well, I say entire, it's probably less than fucking 5%, because they had so much shit going on. I couldn't take it all in, and I wasn't about to ask questions. Anyway, I gotta tell you, you ain't getting near a sitting fucking president. At least not by firearm. Now, I know Butler, PA was a shit show, but he wasn't a sitting president, and we know he was only provided an incompetent skeleton crew. I'm talking the actual president. But there was one question that popped in my mind that night. I dared not ask, because I thought they'd be like, "Why are you asking that? Do you have plans?" Shit like that. That question was, there are guests at this hotel that have been here for days now. Has every room been searched? I'm sure they had the guest list and ran everybody for background checks, and there were bomb-sniffing dogs everywhere, but they can be fooled and thrown off. I know these rooms and suitcases weren't searched, but what about explosives? Now, I'm not saying this to point out weaknesses to potential un-American cocksuckers out there that would ever think of harming our commander-in-chief. I'm saying this for the actual Secret Service. Like, what the ever-loving fuck, bro? This was in a hotel the other night in D.C. This guy had firearms, but what if he had more? What if he was wearing a vest with a pull string? Yeah, yes, he still would have been far enough from the president when he was stopped, but how many people would that have affected? I mean, how many shots did they take at this guy and completely fucking miss? Where did those rounds go? Now, I'm not going to jump on the build the ballroom bandwagon, but how about maybe no more fucking hotels, huh? Or at the very least, with all the fucking money we waste, how about we rent the whole fucking thing and set a perimeter a mile wide? No guests, no parked cars, no passersby. And you know, one of the reasons my guys busted my balls that night, because I am as conservative as they come. And my Facebook at the time would have alerted them to that. Believe me, they had every last bit of info on every cop there, and they still chose me. Maybe it's because even though I wasn't an Obama guy, I wouldn't have hesitated laying my life on the line for Barry O. In a heartbeat. He was my president too, regardless of his politics. I say all this to say, guys, get your shit together and please go to the fucking range and practice using moving targets. That was pathetic. The guy in Butler got off 8 rounds before he got brained. This guy wasn't hit at all. Even the guy on the golf course from like a few feet away wasn't hit once. Come on, man. Our current political climate could never withstand the alternative. God forbid. Get your shit together, please. Okay, end of rant. Now, a quick shift into something more fun. How about fuck cats, yay dogs?
You tell him, Tiger.
That's nuts. If I was some ticket trainer, why'd Dad have to buy tickets from Otto?
Now it's time for the final call. On this date, April 28th in 2021, Deputy Sheriff Logan Shane Fox of the Watauga County Sheriff's Office, North Carolina, along with Sergeant Chris Ward, was shot and killed while conducting a welfare check at a home on Hardeman Circle. A co-worker of the homeowner had requested a welfare check after the man did not report for work and was not answering his phone. Responding officers discovered all the vehicles belonging to the owner in the driveway. Sergeant Ward and Deputy Fox entered the home to check on the occupants. Someone inside opened fire, striking both deputies. Backup officers were able to extract Sergeant Ward from the house, but were unable to reach Deputy Fox. Sergeant Ward was flown to a hospital in Johnson City, Tennessee, where he succumbed to his injuries. The subject barricaded himself inside the house and continued to shoot at law enforcement officers who were on the perimeter throughout the day. He committed suicide several hours into the barricade. Deputy Fox was retrieved from the residence and pronounced dead. Deputy Sheriff Logan Fox had served with the Watauga County Sheriff's Office for 2 years and had previously served 2 years with the Ashe County Sheriff's Office. He is survived by his parents, sister, and fiance. Sergeant Ward had served with the Watauga County Sheriff's Department for 3 years and had previously served 5 years with the Beach Mountain PD. He was survived by his wife and 2 daughters. Also on this date, Deputy U.S. Marshal Robert Olinger, the U.S. Marshal Service, back in 1881, along with Deputy Sheriff James Bell of the Lincoln County, New Mexico Sheriff's Department, was shot and killed during an escape attempt by the notorious outlaw Billy the Kid. The suspect was later shot and killed. Marshal Olinger is buried in an unmarked grave at Fort Stanton Cemetery, Fort Stanton, Lincoln County, New Mexico. Deputy Bell is buried in Cedarville Cemetery, White Oaks, Lincoln County, New Mexico. May all continue to rest in peace. And we'll finish as we always do with a timeline cleanse. But before we go, to all those out there struggling with that mental demon, remember to stop, breathe, survive. Later, bitches.
Get him, Jay.
I'm not a cop.
You got DP'd.